Tennessee whiskey is more than just a drink. It is one of the most tightly regulated, carefully crafted spirits in the world, defined not only by ingredients and aging, but by geography, tradition, and a process that has remained largely unchanged for more than a century. What ends up in an iconic square bottle on store shelves begins as grain and water, then passes through fire, fermentation, charcoal filtration, years of barrel aging, and finally high-speed bottling lines designed to preserve character at massive scale. And today on The How Factory, we're stepping inside Tennessee whiskey distilleries to see exactly how Tennessee whiskey is made, from charred barrels to the finished bottles shipped around the world. The story of Tennessee whiskey begins in the early 1800s, when settlers brought European distilling knowledge into the American South. Corn-based spirits quickly became popular because corn grew easily in the region. Over time, Tennessee distillers refined their methods, eventually developing what would become the defining feature of Tennessee whiskey: charcoal mellowing. This extra filtration step, performed before aging, set Tennessee whiskey apart from bourbon and became legally protected. Today, to be called Tennessee whiskey, the spirit must be made in Tennessee, follow bourbon production rules, and undergo charcoal mellowing before entering the barrel. Modern production begins with raw ingredients arriving at the distillery. The primary grain is corn, which typically makes up more than half of the mash bill. Corn provides sweetness and body. Rye or wheat is added for spice or softness, and malted barley contributes enzymes needed for fermentation. Each grain is tested for moisture content, starch levels, and cleanliness before use. Water is equally critical. Tennessee distilleries rely on naturally filtered limestone water, which removes iron and provides minerals that support fermentation. The first production stage is milling. Grains are ground into coarse meal using industrial hammer mills. Particle size is tightly controlled. Too fine, and the mash becomes gummy. Too coarse, and starch extraction suffers. The milled grains are conveyed directly into cooking systems to prevent contamination. Cooking transforms grain starch into fermentable sugars. In large stainless steel cookers, water is heated, and grains are added in a precise sequence. Corn is cooked first at high temperature to gelatinize its starches. The mixture is then cooled slightly before adding rye or wheat. Finally, malted barley is added at lower temperatures so its enzymes can convert starch into sugar. Temperature control here is critical. A few degrees too hot can destroy enzymes and ruin the batch. Once cooking is complete, the sweet mash, now rich in sugars, is cooled and transferred to fermentation tanks. These tanks, often made of stainless steel and holding tens of thousands of liters, are where alcohol is created. Yeast is added, and fermentation begins almost immediately. Yeast consumes sugar and produces alcohol, carbon dioxide, and hundreds of flavor compounds. Fermentation typically lasts several days. During this time, temperature, pH, and activity are monitored continuously. The fermenting liquid, now called distiller's beer, reaches an alcohol content similar to strong beer. Flavor development at this stage is critical. Fruity, grainy, and spicy notes form here and carry through the entire whiskey's life. Once fermentation is complete, the beer moves to distillation. Tennessee whiskey distilleries use large copper or stainless steel column stills. As the beer is heated, alcohol vapor rises and separates from water and solids. The vapor condenses back into liquid, producing a high-proof spirit known as White Dog. Distillation increases alcohol concentration while refining flavor, but it does not create smoothness. That comes later. After initial distillation, the spirit may pass through additional distillation columns or doubler stills to refine proof and purity. Throughout this process, distillers monitor temperature, flow, and alcohol concentration constantly. The goal is consistency. Every batch must match precise specifications before moving forward. Now comes the step that defines Tennessee whiskey: charcoal mellowing, also known as the Lincoln County process. Before the spirit enters a barrel, it is slowly filtered through thick beds of charcoal made from sugar maple wood. These charcoal vats can be several meters deep. The process is slow, sometimes taking days, as the whiskey drips gradually through the charcoal. This filtration removes harsh compounds and smooths the spirit without stripping flavor. Sugar maple charcoal is burned, quenched, and crushed on-site to exact specifications. The charcoal mellowing step is what legally and stylistically separates Tennessee whiskey from bourbon, and distilleries guard this process carefully. After mellowing, the spirit is diluted with water to barrel entry proof and prepared for aging. Aging begins with barrels, and these barrels are critical. Tennessee whiskey must be aged in brand new charred oak barrels. Barrels are made from American white oak and assembled without glue or nails, using metal hoops to hold staves together. Before filling, barrels are charred on the inside using open flames. Charring creates a layer of charcoal and caramelized wood sugars. This char acts as a natural filter during aging and provides color, sweetness, and complexity. The level of char affects flavor. Deeper char produces more intense vanilla, caramel, and smoky notes. Freshly filled barrels are sealed and moved into aging warehouses. These warehouses can be massive, holding tens of thousands of barrels stacked across multiple levels. Aging is not passive. Tennessee's climate plays a huge role. Seasonal temperature changes cause whiskey to expand into the wood during summer and contract during winter, extracting flavors from the oak. Barrels age for years, sometimes decades. During this time, whiskey develops its amber color and signature flavor. Alcohol slowly evaporates through the barrel, a loss known as the angel's share. Barrel position inside the warehouse affects aging speed and character. Higher floors experience greater temperature swings, producing bolder whiskey, while lower floors age more slowly. Distillers monitor barrels continuously. Samples are drawn periodically to evaluate aroma, taste, and structure. Aging cannot be rushed. No amount of technology can replace time inside a barrel. Some barrels are selected for specific products, while others continue aging longer to develop deeper complexity. When barrels reach maturity, they are emptied and the whiskey is prepared for bottling. Barrels may be blended to achieve consistent flavor across large volumes. Blending ensures that each bottle tastes the same, even though every barrel ages slightly differently. Master distillers oversee this process, balancing flavor, proof, and aroma. Before bottling, whiskey may be filtered to remove barrel char particles, especially if it will be bottled at lower temperatures. Proof is adjusted with water to achieve the final alcohol content. At this stage, the whiskey is complete. Everything that defines its flavor is already locked in. Bottling is a high-speed, highly controlled operation. Empty glass bottles arrive by the thousands and are cleaned with air or water jets. Automated filling machines dispense precise amounts of whiskey into each bottle. Fill levels are checked constantly to meet regulatory standards. Once filled, bottles are sealed with corks or caps, then labeled. Labels are applied with extreme accuracy, and vision systems verify placement, print clarity, and barcode accuracy. Bottles move through packaging lines where they are placed into cartons and prepared for shipping. Quality control continues through the final stage. Random bottles are pulled for taste testing, proof verification, and seal integrity. Every bottle is traceable back to production batches and barrel records. Behind the scenes, sustainability and safety are major priorities. Distilleries reuse spent grain as animal feed. Water is recycled where possible. Charcoal and barrel byproducts are repurposed. Aging warehouses are engineered for fire prevention, temperature control, and structural safety. What makes Tennessee whiskey manufacturing remarkable is how it balances tradition and industrial scale. The process still depends on fire, wood, yeast, and time, but it is executed with modern precision capable of producing millions of bottles without sacrificing identity. From grain silos and fermentation tanks to charcoal vats, towering barrel warehouses, and high-speed bottling lines, Tennessee whiskey is the product of patience amplified by engineering. Every bottle represents years of transformation guided by human judgment and natural chemistry. And that is exactly how Tennessee whiskey is mashed, fermented, distilled, charcoal mellowed, barrel-aged, blended, bottled, and shipped, transforming grain and oak into one of the world's most iconic spirits. Thanks for watching The How Factory, where we reveal how the world really works. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more deep dives into the machines, processes, and traditions behind legendary products.